And good evening, and welcome to the best doggone podcast in the land with Ethan and Heather. The best doggone podcast in the land is a part of the Fanatical Elves Network, a subsidiary of Fans First Sports Network. Thank you all for joining us this evening. And just to get us rolling here, Heather, I just wanted to add this. and I don't want Russia to block us, so I'll leave it at that. But I just thought
we've had our share with Russia wanting to block our stuff, so we don't want to do that again, guys. Really, the podcast was blocked in Russia, so
I can't believe it. I feel like I've accomplished something at this juncture. So welcome everybody to the best doggone podcast in the land. Ethan here along with Heather. Heather, how are you doing today, this evening, this week? It's Friday. We made it.
It is Friday. This week has been a long week. It's been, I don't know if everybody has had the weather. We got the ice. We're supposed to get more tomorrow. So, it's one of those days where all of us at work at the end of the day, we said we're leaving and we are putting our pajamas on and we are going to be in effective blobs tonight. It's All-Star Weekend. You can.
Yeah, absolutely. All-Star Weekend. So that is a great thing. We are going to get into All-Star Weekend. We've got a lot of ground to cover here. And technically, Heather, I thought about it. I know that the Super Bowl happened already 5 days ago, but it is still the same week. So
it is.
We can still talk about it a little bit because I think you can relate that to our home team, the Browns. And we can talk a little bit about what we saw and what it means for the rest of the league going forward, what it means for the Browns going forward, just in our overall thoughts of it. So I'm not gonna say that it's a foul yet. It's kind of like that. How long can you say Happy New Year for? Are you
right? How long should you leave your Christmas tree up?
Right, exactly. There are all of these societal norms that you have to adhere to. And so we're not going to break that. We will not break the societal norms. We are, though, going to talk a little bit of the not so Super Bowl. I was going with mediocre bowl.
Yeah, it was the media, unless you were a Philly fan.
Exactly.
Or honestly, unless you were a Philly fan or unless you were someone that hated Kansas City with a burning passion, I would feel that was the best Super Bowl ever if that were the Steelers or the Ravens that were getting beat that badly. So I think it depends on your fandom, where your fandom lies.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I watched it. Now, I'll tell you what, and I shared the story the other night. In the battle of man versus the case of 40 bottles of 16.9-ounce bottles of water at BJ's Wholesale Club, the bottles of water won. Man, 0. And so I spent Sunday. Sunday was not a good day. And I got to tell you, not being able to get up and constantly get out of my seat and not watch that crap fest was kind of that might have been more painful than the searing back pain.
So there was you already had one thing and then you added that. I don't know. I think it was one of the more polarizing Super Bowls, just, partly because of the halftime show. And so it was an overall, the Super Bowl was, I don't know. It was okay. The commercials weren't that good. I liked the halftime performance, but and honestly, I didn't hate the game. I was pretty mad at Kansas City because they couldn't get any offense going. I needed them to score more for my parlays.
Now see that I can understand, and that is one thing in this, the fact that gambling has become legalized throughout the country has made things a little bit more interesting, although I find it rather annoying, to be quite honest. Every game, well, the in-game spread is this, the blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And so to me, I'm like, all right, I've heard enough. I've got it. Yes, you're okay, great, gamble. We did have, I did use my son to put down, we used his savvy to place a wager on the exact score of the game, because actually 2 years ago, had I known this clown, in his class, they did something. They guessed the score and the winner. He had the right score and winner, and I didn't know that he had done that, so I had placed no money on it. But but he had picked the Kansas City Philadelphia winner and score 2 years ago or whatever, when they last played. But this year, not so much. So $1 down the toilet.
Did you see there was a story of, and I don't know who he had winning I think he had Kansas City winning the Super Bowl, but he picked the winner for the NHL, for the Stanley Cup. He picked the winner for the World Series. He picked the winner for the NBA because it went into this season, right?
Right.
And all he needed was Kansas City to win. And I don't know if he cashed out or not. I have to look and see, but I knew he couldn't cash out, once the game had started. Right. So I don't know. I would have probably cashed out. Look, 4 out of 5, I'll take.
I mean, that's amazing to do that because now, granted, if we go by it, I'm thinking about, the NHL was the Panthers, right? Was Florida was
Florida, yeah, because Sherry was very excited about that. Yeah, one of our counterparts.
Exactly. And hey, folks, if you like all of the programming as part of the Fanatical Elves Network this evening, later on, Burning River Browns podcast. I think I should know this. I've done it. Check out at Browns Fangirl, GURL. I'll put her handle up here. Yes. Check her out. Yeah, her and Lou have a really good. They've got a really good pod. So check them out. And the off color humor is fantastic. Lou, he's got some good impressions and lots of insightful stuff there. So please check out all of the other programming that is available as part of the Fanatical Elves Network and as part of Fans First Sports Network. So yeah, the game itself was kind of meh, unless, as you said, you really hated the Chiefs, you were a big Philly fan, or you just had maybe you had a big wager on it or something. And for me, I don't hate the Chiefs that much. I don't love Philadelphia that much, and I didn't have a big wager on it. So it really was a meh bowl for me.
Did you see, though, after the game, how impossible it is not to like Jalen Hurts and to not like Saquon Barkley, two of the most likable guys. And I didn't realize I always liked Saquon Barkley, but I didn't realize Jalen Hurts was such a likable guy. Yeah. And I think it's the Philly fans that kind of destroy their own team. Did you see at the I hope everybody that went to the celebration parade, if you're watching, you were safe, because I saw there was a shooting at the parade today. So they're terrifying. Philly fans are a little terrifying. So I think that was why it was so hated. It was the fans versus the team essentially is who is the most hated.
Right. Exactly. You hit the nail on the head, Heather. And actually, you talk about Saquon Barkley and getting to know these people. He actually appeared on, they got him on the phone. He did an interview with Howard Stern this week, and it was very enlightening and interesting. I got to know Saquon Barkley, the person.
Yeah.
If you're just a casual fan, if you didn't follow him, to be able to hear him on the air, and Howard is not a sports aficionado, but he's going to ask them lots of questions just about their upbringing and getting into getting into the game. And it's a different side of things. And so, hey, that is great. So actually, I'm not upset that Philadelphia won.
No, and I'm not, and I wouldn't have been upset if Kansas City had won. I would have been whatever, good night. If Philadelphia won, whatever, good night. It was all around, it was just not the best Super Bowl that like I said, the commercials weren't good. And honestly, it was, if you like defense, Philly put up a lot of points, but if you like defense, that was the game, because Philadelphia's defense was disgusting. They were absolutely disgusting.
It was filthy. They just dominated. The fact that they were able to pressure with just the front four, they didn't have to bring extra blitz.
I know.
It was crazy, and the Chiefs looked helpless. I heard someone talk about, if they had started going deep earlier and doing whatever. No, the reason
they couldn't go deep earlier.
He had no time. He had no time. And by the end of the game, when he's throwing deep and crashing in a few points, it's because Philadelphia is kind of backing off. They're letting the foot off the gas just a little bit. So let's not
Correct.
make it
Correct.
sound.
Philly's like, all right, we've kind of, the game's a little bit out of hand. We don't have to go 100 miles an hour. We can go 75 miles an hour. And that's what we saw. We saw a different type of defense that Kansas City has seen all year long. And I think a lot of people lost sight of the fact that Kansas City hasn't exactly been the offensive explosion team that they have been in the past. They only put up 30 points more than they only put up 30 points in one game this year. They didn't have a big explosive offense. I think they only averaged, I mean, I say only, but I think it was only like 24 points a game. And that's just not Kansas City's. That's not how they win. Now, they were magical in the regular season, but they ran up against the most complete team in the NFL.
Yeah. And so isn't it crazy? And I've talked about this, maybe you and I talked about it before the Super Bowl. The fact that when the Browns went into Philadelphia in like week 5 or 6, there were fans booing Nick Sirianni, and they were getting all
They
over.
were.
And now look where they ended up. It's kind of funny
Right.
it's funny how that fanatic part
well,
of it.
the fanatic, right. And I think one of the things too that everybody talks about, and it's not the same thing. It's definitely not the same thing, but I am going to kind of do a little bit of a comparison to Will Howard, how throughout the whole playoffs, everybody was saying that Will Howard is the weakest quarterback in the entire playoffs, and he was going to be the reason that we lost. And everybody was saying that Jalen Hurts was just not a Super Bowl elite level quarterback, and he was the weakest of everybody. And what do? They go in, and you don't have to be a gunslinger. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be good and get the ball to your guys. And that's what he did. That's what Jalen Hurts did.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that I hope they savor this. I hope Philly fans savor this. It must be nice to be in towns when you win championships. Now they're starting to get into kind of a regular flow because, I mean, certainly they hadn't gone to a Super Bowl until the Terrell they ran into the Patriots under with Donovan and Terrell Owens, and they run into the Patriots, and then they get back there and win it with a backup quarterback. They lose Holmes, and then they get another win. So hey, good for them, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, good for them. Good for them. Like I'm ready for it. I'm sour grapes. I'm not gonna lie. As a Cleveland fan, you start to get that. You feel sorry for yourself. Like, this is never going to happen for us. It's just never going to happen for us. Like Philly won it with Nick Foles one year, we, so what's even happening? What are we even doing?
We had Flacco fever.
We did have Flacco fever. We absolutely had Flacco fever.
Exactly.
I don't know, Ethan, about you. I'm really sad that football is over. Like, college football is over, NFL is over. I'm excited for the Cavs, and I'm super excited that pitchers and catchers are going to report here. And again, I don't think we did enough of the introductions. You guys, we'll talk about a lot of this stuff. We're not just going to talk about our Cleveland. We're going to talk about, the NBA. We're going to talk about baseball's coming up. Pitchers and catchers are reporting. So like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on X at the best Doggone podcast. So check us out on my handle. So, Ethan, did you have anything else to wrap up about the Super Bowl? I don't know. It was all right.
It really was. I mean, again, the commercials kind of were like, if I could scale them on a scale of farts, whether it be like, silent but deadly, or
it was a wet one. It was a wet one.
It was no good. It was no power behind it. It kind of stunk, to be quite honest. The national anthem was meh, I mean, so in the halftime show, like you said, if Kendrick Lamar is up your alley and you like him, perfect. It wasn't for me, but that's
right.
fine.
And it wasn't. That's the thing. It didn't have to be for everyone. And Roger, but he said he loved the wacko for Flacco. We all did, because at least when you lose with a respectable quarterback, it's a respectable loss. I would rather be 1-15 than 16-0. So that's
yes. Are you letting the dogs out, Heather?
I am letting the dogs out. I am so sorry. She's having a stroke right now. So let me hang on.
No, you hang on there. So folks, again, thank you for tuning in here. This is the best doggone podcast in the land. We are a part of the Fanatical Elves Network and a subsidiary of Fans First Sports Network. And just again, as I mentioned, as we talked about at the outset, you can look for a lot of great programming on the Fanatical Elves Network. You can find all the podcasts on your favorite podcast platform, whether it's on Spotify or you go through Apple or any of those other avenues. You can download the podcast later. If you're not watching us live on the video, you can also go to YouTube and catch our videos, all of our videos later. And you can look at the bottom of the screen with all of the pertinent details there. But you know what really stunk, Heather, about the Super Bowl week for Cleveland was we were up front in the news because somebody got out their flamethrower and went down Radio Row and went ballistic there. I mean, now that we've had a chance to sit on it for a few days, where do you stand on this whole drama with Myles Garrett? And what do you think the likeliest outcome might be?
Honestly, I'm pretty aggravated about it. I think he is. I think what you said, he took a flamethrower for it. The letter wasn't necessary. The letter was, it was overkill. Like, you could have just did it privately, and then after you got your trade, if you get your trade, you could have said, like, Cleveland, I love you, but I just felt it was time to move on. You know, you could have done it in a more delicate way. Instead, he went all LeBron James, Boys and Girls Club, you know, nighttime Miami special. So it's insulting to us because, look, at the end of the day, we as fans cannot control what the Haslams do. I can't control who they draft. I can't control who they trade for. We can't do anything, but we're the ones that pay for it. And I think that some of the, you know, we pay their salaries. You know, Myles, if we don't buy your crap, you're not going to get, you know, $30 million a year. So I think at the end of the day, they don't owe us anything, but I think you have to be sensitive to the fact that we are suffering for this. We're paying for the Deshaun Watson trade.
We are. And it's part of the whole attitude in Cleveland and Northeast Ohio, they get us factor, right?
Yeah.
And it felt like with Myles that he did get us. You know, he's got a little bit of ownership in the Cavs. He's always around and seems like a good dude. And I'm pissed off, but I'm not liking the way he's going about it. The fact that, and the question is it because, and I've heard others as part of Fanatical Elves, one of our fine people, Steve Gill, talked about this, you know, who his agents are. They're Clutch Sports.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are.
LeBron, they are NBA players. So they're trying to essentially operate the way they do in the NBA. And it's not that way when it comes to the NFL. I mean, remember, Darius Garland said he wanted to trade if they extended Donovan Mitchell. And you know what happened? Nothing. He did not get it.
I do remember that.
He did not get a trade, and he's going to be an all-star.
Right, and that goes to the
So we will.
He's happy as ever. He's happy as Clem. He's having arguably the best year that he's ever had.
Oh, 100%. And I cannot wait to see all of them this weekend. We've got three of.
Sorry, I'm like all kinds of messed up tonight.
And it's okay. You're freezing a little bit, but we are working through it. We act like nothing is actually happening here. We just keep on rolling. We truck right on through, just like we'd like to see, I don't know, somebody truck through. I can't come up with the right line there, but yeah, it was just kind of crappy. And when you watch the Super Bowl, how many does it just make you feel like we are so many light years away from our team being in contention for a Super Bowl?
Yeah, it does. It really, we're not even in the same league. That's how it feels.
We are not. I mean, we can't figure out our quarterback situation. The draft is going to be interesting. We will, because we are fanatics, we will find a way to get ourselves excited about whatever, and it gives us a lot to talk about. But let me ask you this, because this is in the news. So I'm going to do a would you rather. A lot of stuff has come out of New York and in the media that the Jets have said bye-bye to Aaron Rodgers and said, we do not need your services any longer. So if Aaron Rodgers were available at the right price, Would you rather have Aaron Rodgers or Bailey Zappi?
I don't want Aaron Rodgers. I'd rather have Bailey Zappi. I don't want Aaron Rodgers.
Would you rather have Aaron Rodgers or DTR?
DTR. I don't want Aaron Rodgers at all.
Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson?
Oh boy, Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, now here's the key. This is the creme de la creme. Heather, would you rather have Aaron Rodgers or a hot pile of dog poop?
Oh, I'd rather have the hot pile.
Okay. There we have. There it is.
Yeah.
That is what I wanted to know. It's a fun time here. No, it's going to be a great debate as the NFL moves toward the combine. Combine's coming up here right upon us in Indianapolis. Can't wait for that to happen. We're going to get lots of news and information out of there. And then we'll start to move forward toward the legal tampering period, free agency, et cetera, and then we'll get to the schedule, the draft. I am looking forward to all of that. But you know what? We've got a lot of other stuff in front of us here. And with that, let's take a moment here to pause for a word from our sponsors. You are tuned into the best doggone podcast in the land. And thank you, everybody, for continuing to tune in to us. We are the best doggone podcast in the land. Heather and Ethan here. So, Heather, on another more successful football note, what do you think about the news that apparently Ohio State is going to replace Jim Knowles with Matt Patricia, formerly of the NFL, the New England Patriots defensive coordinator, and as a head coach of the Detroit Lions that was kind of short-lived, not so successful?
Okay, so at first I was upset about it. Not upset. That's not the right word. At first I was curious. I'm like, okay, Matt Patricia, that's an interesting pick. You know, we all know, I think his stint in New England was a lot lesser known to people because he wasn't the main guy. You know, everybody remembers him for Detroit. And that's where I was too. You know, I remembered him for Detroit. So now that I have some, you know, a little bit of separation, he's a good defensive coordinator. It's not as serious. It is serious at Ohio State, but it's still not to the level that it was in the NFL. And he was a good DC. So I think we're going to be fine. Plus, we're surrounded by some of the best recruiters in college. That's maybe he doesn't love the recruiting piece of it, but I think, you know, he's surrounded by people who are very, very good at recruiting. So I think it was a good pick. I think it was a solid pick. I'm okay with it now.
Yeah, I really think so. I mean, it was tough because Ohio State finally hit its stride in its defense, and Jim Knowles seemed to have come into his own there in Ohio State. Obviously, he had his resume before Ohio State, but really found his way by the end of the season. And Ohio State was playing great defense, and so it was tough to lose him to Penn State. Kind of odd, but okay, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, that was a little bit. That was a choice. I don't know. Maybe he did everything that he could do. I heard that he was not the easiest guy to get along with, and that there was a little bit of turmoil and tension. So I don't know. Maybe that was part of it. I don't know. Yeah, but Penn State was different.
Yeah, sure. Well, he's going to have to work twice as hard because at Penn State, they don't have the offensive firepower, and they haven't had the offensive firepower. So you really have to play like near perfect games in big games because you're not going to be able to make up for errors with a high-powered offense that he had the sort of the luxury of having at Ohio State. So, you know, it's all exciting. And as I told you, Heather, I still do not have all of my championship gear because I avoided.
Yeah. What's going on with that?
You know, I decided because of all the horror stories that I heard about Fanatics and all the things. I think it was Fanatics versus the Grinch. It
was Fanatics. Yeah.
Right. We talked about that. And I'm like, I'm just going to avoid them. So I ended up going through the Ohio State's like team store. And so they don't have the product waiting there to put out like a Dick's Sporting Good does. They get the orders in, then they have to get it from Nike, and then they send it out. I called them today. I was like, any update on this? It's in process. What does that mean? It's in I spent hundreds of dollars. Where is this stuff? So anyway.
So Fanatics is one of the ones that, there have been a lot of problems with Fanatics, but I will say they have really good customer service. I've had problems with them too, but they've gotten it straightened out. So do you really think, he wouldn't hire him in North Carolina, so he landed in Columbus? That's a fair assessment. Actually, you got to wonder if he didn't want to go with Bill to North Carolina because they had worked so closely together for so long. Would have been maybe a little bit of a reunion. You never know.
It might have been. And also, I'd have to look at the timing, to be quite honest. And I don't know. I know Roger's trolling us a little bit here because,
he is, because I know Roger. Yeah.
We all know Roger. And that's
but Roger doesn't know he's trolling us, but maybe he did want to go because he worked with him. And it's not like Belichick is not in it. So that's potential. Roger's just nervous because we're going to have a different offensive coordinator, and we have a different Ryan Day now. So
right. And now they have to get transmitters to steal the plays that they're calling helmets. It's a secure link as opposed to the holding up the picture of Donald Duck and Daffy Duck.
Yeah.
And then deciphering which one is the correct play call, right?
Yep.
No. So anyway, but all kinds of good stuff there. But it's a big weekend, Heather, for our Cleveland Cavaliers.
It's a really big weekend for our Cavs. It should be a little bit bigger, but we'll get into that with Jared Allen. Should be a little bit bigger for me, but it's a really, really, really exciting time for Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited. After we talked last week on Thursday, and it was right after they had done the trade to acquire DeAndre Hunter, and they traded away George Niang and Karis LeVert. And Friday night, I actually went and saw the game up in Washington, and this was something I shared on another podcast. Talked to Tim Alcorn before the game, the voice of the Cavs, the radio voice, and he said, "Yeah, I'm downstairs talking to somebody, and we're commenting. We're 41-10, and we just got better because
we did. That was the wow. Because we all talked about this. We all talked about like what should the Cavs do at the trade deadline, and I think that the overall consensus was you shouldn't do anything. Like, don't do anything. And I apologize, Herb. I missed your hello. Thank you for watching, but We all said they shouldn't do anything because we have such a good team right now. Best record in the NBA, first in the East. What else do you need to add? And then all of a sudden, we're like, that's what you need to add.
Yeah, it's a fantastic move just because they needed something a little bit different. I heard Brian Windhurst talking with the guys at ESPN Cleveland this afternoon, and I don't know that he felt that DeAndre Hunter is so much better than Karis LeVert, but he offers some things that maybe Karis and George Niang couldn't offer you. A little bit better size. His scoring is good. And if we've got the right players and right pieces, we've got a very good shot. We go into the All-Star break. The Cavs and the Thunder, both 44-10. We split the season series. The Cavs are in the driver's seat to get the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference so they can have home court advantage to whomever they might face in the playoffs. If they reach the Eastern Conference Finals right now, the 2 seed and the 3 seed, Boston and New York, potentially, if they win a first-round series, they'd play against each other, beat each other up a little bit. But I want home court against either one of those teams. And, I think it's going to take a little time for them to all work everything together. We've got a couple of players that are still injured, Wade and Isaac Okoro. So I think that getting them back into the lineup after the All-Star break is going to be very important to see how they can have their roles defined, and then also to integrate with DeAndre Hunter and see where they go from there.
Yeah, and I think that I think that it breathed, some new life. It was fun watching them, especially in that first game. It was fun watching them play together because they looked like they actually liked each other still. That's what I think I notice about this team is that they've got a lot of good chemistry. They've got a lot of really good chemistry, and adding him didn't seem to change that at all.
No, definitely not. So I think that it was a fantastic first half of the season, and quote unquote first half of the season, as we are obviously well beyond the 41 game mark at a record of 44 and 10. And so we go in to the All-Star break. Now, I did want to touch on this. The last game before the All-Star break, well, that turned out to be more interesting than we all probably thought it should have. When the Cavs played north of the border in Toronto, thank you, Tristan Thompson. Tristan Thompson.
Okay, I gotta find. Do you have okay? So if you guys did not watch Tristan Thompson, so we were up by 28, I think. I think we were up by 28 maybe or something like that. And there was like 4 seconds left. And Tristan Thompson, he dunked it. He put it in, and they yapped about it. In the post, here it is. In the post game press conference, they were not happy about it. So, did he take it down? Oh no. Okay. So the Raptors head coach said, "I think what Tristan did there was no class and disrespectful. I love when my team stands up for themselves." So Tristan responded via X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And he said, "You want a full court press with under a minute left in the game when you get cracked by 30. This will happen to you. Lose for draft lottery and be happy, buddy boy. Hopefully you and most of your guys see the light at the end of Bobby and Masai long-term plan. Bless up. Stay warm in my city." And my city was all in, but when he said when you get cracked by 30.
Yeah, that was the very nice way of saying,
"Oh, Roger." Now Roger's not being a troll. I know he's being serious when he says this. Okoro got robbed. He is an all-star. I agree, Roger.
Oh yeah,
Isaac Okoro should have been an all-star. He should have definitely. He and Jarrett Allen got robbed. I mean, it's not fair.
They did. What Tristan really meant to say was,
"You stink."
Yes, we know that's it. You basically
Yeah, they got cracked. They got cracked by 30. So it gave the game a little bit of excitement.
No, it really did. And again, what we're seeing is that the Cavs have been able to do this by having a deep rotation, and they're saving their players' legs. I saw statistics, and they talked about it. Donovan Mitchell is the only player on the team who's played even one game where he's clocked even 40 minutes, and it was 40 minutes and 9 seconds or something.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Last year, he practically led the NBA in minutes.
Exactly. And they were burnt out, and they've been so blessed so far to be able to have, as we talked about before, Ty Jerome really was like adding a free agent because he didn't get to play it all last year due to injury. And having him out on the floor has been amazing. And they've just, thank goodness for their health. And let's hope that they can maintain that through the All-Star weekend here.
Yep. Yeah. Because All-Star weekend is coming up on us, guys. And there's not it's not a very huge mix of teams, but there are some teams that are really represented, and the Cavs are really represented this year. I know that we're I know that we're homers, but even the casual NBA fan can admit that Cleveland is very well represented. They have Donovan Mitchell, they have Evan Mobley, and they have Darius Garland. So, and Mobley and Mitchell are going to be in the skills challenge, and Darius Garland is going to be in the 3-point challenge. It's kind of reminiscent of Kyrie Irving years.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I would go so. I mean, first of all, we had the year with, the Irving Love, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, and LeBron James.
Yeah.
That was nice. And they showed the different seasons that the Cavs have had 3 3 players in the All-Star weekend, the All-Star game, when you go back to Price, Doherty, and Nance.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that.
And that's just phenomenal.
They're just in really good company right now. And you know what? I think that Jared Allen deserved it. And again, I fully admit that I'm a homer, but the thing is, I think is that Jared Allen isn't averaging as many points as he did last year, but he is more efficient this year. He's not playing as many minutes, and but he's way more efficient.
Oh, his stats are off the chart.
They are. They really are.
And he is that's a guy who I'd like to sit down and talk to.
Yes. Well, and he's a cat. He's a crazy cat lady. He loves his cats. So I bet you, yes, he's only got 2, but he's like he's a cat dad. He's always got his cats with him. So he's like so relatable. He's so down to earth.
Exactly. I'd love to talk to that guy just because.
I would too.
It's like you would see a guy that, just because of his height, his stature, his physical presence.
Yeah.
And you would expect something different, but then it's kind of like a gentle giant. And I still crack up when he gets called for defensive 3 seconds and he's like, and he yells, and I'm like, this guy's great.
Well, he puts his arm up, and I'm like, sir, you are already almost 7 feet tall. You put your arm up, and you're gonna reach through the ceiling.
Yes. I mean, he does so great. And then the combination of Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, the big alley-oops, and throw it down with Frobley. Just loving that. The guy's a good dude. I did talk and say, hey, Tim. I said, Tim Alcorn, I said, what are we going to do about Jared Allen? His shoes are going to wear out here. We need to get with Nike because he's still wearing Kyrie 3s.
Yes, I know. He's like, I'm not spending money on shoes.
He's like superstitious is what they said on the broadcast. I think Kaylee, maybe the either Serena Winters or Kaylee Griffin. I don't know which person it was on the Cavs broadcast, and they were talking about it. And I mean, the shoes are getting wore out. I'm like, dude.
They're going to have them resold. I can't believe that they aren't already. They've got a lot of mileage on them.
I think he might have separate shoes for practice.
Practice.
We're talking about practice.
Yeah.
Practice. You can't, any sports fan, you cannot ever hear the word, it's just practice, and not quote that. You cannot spit that quote.
Right. And then you can't even start to talk about what it's going to
be
when you get on the playoffs.
The playoffs?
No,
we're talking about practice.
No. We're talking about All-Star
weekend. So let me ask you. All right. I like All-Star Saturday. I don't love the celebrity game, which is why we're doing this now. I like the well, it's the rookie sophomores. I know they call it the rising. Don't they call it the rising stars or something like that? Do. And obviously Saturday is fun. Arguably though, Saturday, the weakest event anymore is the dunk contest. So I'm not sure. What are your takes on the dunk contest? Because I know how I feel.
All right. So my take is this. So first of all, how many different things can you actually do?
Exactly. The creativity, we're kind of getting low on the creativity because there's only so much.
Right. Yeah. Without getting props involved. I mean, until somebody can. So Michael Jordan did the free throw line dunk. And for years after that, that was like if you could do that,
right,
you were like in some good company. When is somebody going to be able to leap from the 3-point line and dunk it? Like, I think Victor Wembanyama.
Well, I feel like Victor Wembanyama Wemby just has to reach forward.
Oh,
and he can reach the hoop. He's a long man.
Exactly.
The wingspan is no joke.
And it's crazy because the past 2 years, the winner is Mac McClung, who's trying to go for the three-peat, and he's not even on an NBA roster. I mean, he's in the G League.
He's in the G League for the Magic. But how long are you going to float around the G League? He's been in the G League his whole career.
Right. And think about other small guys who have won the slam dunk competition, starting way back with Spud Webb. Spud
Yeah,
Webb.
I want a Spud McKenzie, the Bud Light.
Spud McKenzie, yes. I mean, Spud Webb was amazing.
He was
doing, and that, I mean, you look at him and you talk about like Tyrone Muggsy Bogues, just amazing.
Muggsy Bogues, yeah. It was Nate Robinson Nate Robinson, sorry. Nate Robinson, was he one that was he was in it. I don't know if he ever won.
Yes, he won it twice.
Did he won? Okay, that's so you little guys can win.
Kenny Smith won it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Kenny.
Kenny Smith, the guy is like, man,
100 pounds soaking wet.
His knees are like
little.
Have you seen him on TNT?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's always the way his knees were or if that's a new thing, but he just looks like they're all what's the word? Like knee knocking.
Yeah.
I can't think of the right term, but those are the guys that really amaze me. I wish they could do more without having to use props
or people or some of that. I remember when Dwight Howard did the dunk and he touched the top of the backboard and he had the sticker of himself smiling with the thumbs up. Like that was funny. That was kitschy because it still wasn't like a prop. He still dunked. He just reached up, grabbed the backboard, and then dunked it.
Exactly.
The dunk contest now is more of it's just and everything is a show, but you still should be, and it's not that it's not talented. I just think it's lost a lot of its luster. So I'll watch, but I'll just be like, meh, like I could do any of that. I couldn't even do it with a trampoline and a ladder, but I can judge other people who do.
That's what we are able to do. We are allowed to be armchair NBA slam dunk contest judges. We can be armchair judges. That's what it is. I still believe that Dwight Howard should not have won the dunk contest, though, because he did not dunk that ball with his Superman cape on. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
He threw the ball into the pocket. He did not dunk it. I don't see how you could award him with that. That's like the robbery of Dominique Wilkins when Michael Jordan won the contest. I mean, Meek, the human highlight reel, got robbed. He got robbed.
Oh, Dominique was just sick. That's probably why he's one of the meanest judges. He's like, you're not getting any. I didn't get any. You're not going to get any.
Exactly. I liked when I'm certain about this, when the most recently the All-Star game was in Cleveland and they had the slam dunk competition that Larry Nance Jr. participated, and he replicated the dunk with two balls that his father Larry Nance had done back in the day as a member of the Phoenix Suns. That was amazing.
That was really cool. I like the nods when some of these they do the nods back, but I think part of the judges know because they are in that industry. But some of the problem is that they belong to our generation, not the younger generation.
Well, think about it. Okay, so you had I think it was D Brown did the arm over his eyes.
Yeah.
Then was it Isaiah Ryder who was flamed out in the NBA? Didn't he put his jersey over his head?
Yeah. Was it him? Was that who it was? Gosh.
I thought
that was a while ago.
But we've seen some great, and now you don't see the top of the top player.
No. Well, LeBron never entered, and
why is that, do you think? Is it a matter of I don't want to lose?
No. Did you ever hear LeBron give his explanation? He said the reason that he doesn't do it is because his dunks aren't designed. His dunks are just in game, and he just does in the spur of the moment. And he's not good at putting together an actual dunk. His games are in-game dunks, so he wasn't comfortable. I mean, I think it's probably a load of crap because you could put something together, and he just probably was not wanting to lose.
Man, that's lame. That's lame.
Well, LeBron. I mean, I'm just saying what he said.
Yeah, this is what I said.
All the way. Think goodbye.
Yeah. Adios, dude. No, that was come on, man. Because that kind of thing, that kind of fire, and the power of his. So some guys are finesse dunkers and they do all kinds of whirly birds and stuff, and then you get the guy who just ram it home, and that's amazing. I mean, certainly we've seen some good ones. I think the recent memories. Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon put on.
Oh gosh, yeah, Zach LaVine, yeah, he's a big guy. I mean, he's just a big boy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't even know these other guys who are participating. I saw the names and I'm like,
okay, I can't even pronounce this one name. It's Matis Buzelis, I think maybe he plays for the Bulls. Admittedly, I don't watch Chicago a whole lot. Stephen Castle for the Spurs, Stephen Castle. Andre Jackson for the Bucks, and then Mac McClung. Okay. And I'm sure I missed someone else, but that's two.
That's it.
There's four. It's 4 this year. Well, did you see that they also changed the format of the NBA All-Star game? There's 4 teams now.
Yes, I saw that, and I'm actually, for that reason, because I don't quite have it figured all out, I'm actually inclined to watch it. So they've done such a
me too.
They've done such a terrible job explaining I understand. Yeah, you've got 4 teams. Well, there's 3 teams of NBA players divided up. And then there's going to be the winner of this mini tournament, the Rising Stars, which is going on tonight. That's going to make up the 4th team.
Correct.
And going to 40 and so on and so on. But I'm actually
it's first to 40. I forget what it's like. There's a league,
NHL
basketball team, the basketball tournament, TBT.
Oh yeah, with the Elam ending.
Yeah. It's like that. That's what it seems like. That's the format. And I'm not mad about it, but I'm also, I guess maybe to stop the score from being like 276 to 270. Yeah, because there's no defense in there. So you actually want to play defense now because you want to stop them from getting to 40. So maybe that is
100%, Heather. You want to, I think that maybe this will spur some more actual competitive games and nature out of these guys, because the All-Star game still used to be pretty competitive back in the day. And I know I'm aging out. I'm showing everybody how much of an old fart I am when I'm talking about back in my day, I played competitively.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Breaking news here. The Naismith, did you get that? Did you just get the Naismith? It has to do with basketball.
Okay, what you got?
The Naismith Hall of Fame, they just announced who are finalists. So Sue Bird, Maya Moore, Sylvia Fowles, along with coaches Billy Donovan and Mark Few. And then there is Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard. Who else do we have? Oh, no. Now they're I'm very impressed with this article because they're talking about the women and how Maya Moore definitely deserves this. So those are some of the ones that were just announced.
Yeah, I see this. The other Hall of Fame finalists include NBA referee Danny Crawford. What?
Wow.
What is he? Is that the booby prize? Does he get put in the bathroom? Do they put his plaque up over the crapper? I mean,
over the urinal.
Maybe,
he can catch the splash.
Buck Williams of the Portland Trailblazers. Love that guy. Played a lot in Blazers versus Bulls on the Sega Genesis. A little Buck Williams.
Sega.
Yeah.
That was. It's a good, especially the women. I don't know if anybody on here watches the women, but Maya Moore was. And Sue Bird. Hello.
Oh, phenomenal players. They have really helped shape
Trailblazers.
Yes, and not just Buck Williams, being actual Trailblazers. There you go.
Yes, yes, exactly. So we digress. There was just some breaking news. So I don't know. I'm not super jacked about the dunk contest, but I am going to watch. I am excited to see the actual All-Star game, see how that one plays out. I'll watch the Rising Stars game tonight when we're off. And then definitely will want to check out the, All-Star Saturday night, all of that pomp and circumstance, just because we're in it. Now, would I feel differently about the dunk contest if Jared Allen was in it? Yeah.
Exactly. No, but I am very excited for the 3-point shootout. I've loved that for a long time. Back in the day, watching Larry Bird, Craig Hodges, amongst others, Mark Price, and so many more. Steve Kerr, Paxson.
Yeah.
So many.
Oh, wow. Paxson. Yeah.
Amazing shooters.
Yeah.
And we've got DG in it this year, repping us, and hopefully he can take down the rest of the competition. You got the 2-time defending champion, Dame Time, in there.
Yeah, you got Dame Time in there. Yeah.
And
then there are some that I'm not like super familiar with. But
yeah, I mean, Cade Cunningham, he does well at getting fouled on 3-point shots by George Niang and then getting 6 free throws in the final minute. And I mean, you got that going for you there.
He does have that going for him. I'm not, Buddy Hield, I know, I'm not familiar with Cameron Johnson that much or Norman Powell for the Clippers. So Tyler Hero, Jalen Brunson, those are, I guess though, they're on more nationally televised. Yeah, because they're better. Their teams are better. They're on better teams. Like you don't get to see Cade Cunningham. I just know him because when at the height of card collecting, Cade Cunningham was the next up and comer, and that's the card that you wanted. So I know his name.
Exactly. No, I mean Jalen Brunson has been phenomenal for the Knicks. He has really, really come into his own because if you recall, as a Cavs fan, when Donovan Mitchell ended up coming to the Cavs, and then then the Knicks end up with have Jalen Brunson. And it's like, well, why would you need Donovan if you've got Jalen Brunson? And Brunson has done great there. Really,
he has. He really has. Yeah.
Not that I like the Knicks at all. Cade Cunningham, with JB at the helm, and the Pistons are turning things around there, so I'm good for him. Tyler Hero, he's just a pain in the butt with the South Beach flu. Buddy Hield, he's been around for a while, but
he has been. Buddy Hield has been around for a while. I don't hate Golden State like as nearly as much as I used to because it's not us against them anymore.
No, it isn't. Exactly. Don't have to worry about him, but he's killed us for other teams.
Well, I agree. I completely agree. I mean, I still don't like Golden State because I cannot stand never, Draymond Green, donkey from Shrek.
Oh, God, yeah. That guy, he was a piece of work. And Cam Johnson, he was in the news because he was rumored as a possible trade option with the Nets. He is another wing player, but okay, great. And we talked about Dame Time. Norman Powell's been around for a few seasons, and he's had a nice go of it so far. But I feel good about DG's chances. And
I do too.
The skills competition will be really good.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun. Did you see there's a rookie team this year? So it's Team Cavs, Team Rooks, and then there's the Warriors and the Spurs. And the Warriors, of course, have Draymond Green. So I automatically want them to lose everything.
Right. No, I didn't see all the contenders. And you're talking about for the skills challenge, yes?
Yeah, for the skills challenge. Yeah. So it's Team Cavs, Mitchell and Mobley. Okay. And then Team Rooks, Zachary, I don't even know. Reza Shea for the Hawks, and then Alex Starr for the Wizards. And then the Warriors have Draymond Green and Moses Moody. The Spurs have Chris Paul and Victor Wemby. I think that Cavs Spurs probably have. I don't know though. The rookies seem like they're really good at this stuff.
As they could be. They're also both Frenchies. Risotto and sour.
Have a croissant.
That's the
extent of my middle name is French. My grandmother is a first-generation immigrant, so I should know. Yes, yeah. I'm actually named after her, so I should know this French stuff because she was French. I mean, like she was French. She came over here when she was 8 years old.
Wow. Well, my dad and grandmother, they came here from England. So I am, I guess would that make me first? So he would have been, I don't know what generation. But
she was actually first generation because she came over here when she was 8 years old with her sister, not with her parents. Her parents said, we're sending you over there. Good luck. It's in God's hands. So she was first generation. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that would make you said your grandparents were?
Right. So my dad, when he was 13.
Yeah, it's fun. So I digress, but I should know about these French players.
Yeah, exactly. So we got a lot of excitement going on in the NBA here. And I'm really curious about the All-Star weekend. And we've got, spring training is just about ready to get things underway. The Guardians, the pitchers, catchers reported this week. I'm really looking forward to that. What do you think about the new streaming platform for the Guardians as it pertains to small market teams that had to figure out how to market their broadcasting rights? And Heather, are you there?
Okay, you're gonna have to bear with me. My internet is acting like a jerk. Yeah,
Okay.
my internet's acting like a jerk.
Okay, no problem. It's all good.
Yeah. I'm having
It is okay. So, so stick with us. So, so the Guardians, Major League Baseball, pitchers and catchers reported this week, and spring training games will be coming around, I believe, in another week here. And I'm pretty certain the Guardians will open up with possibly the Reds, and they'll see their former manager, Tito Francona. All kinds of excitement in the, for Major League Baseball fans. Even if you are a fan of some of the smaller market teams, certainly, we saw that last year the AL Central had 3 teams in the playoffs, and the Guardians pushed the Yankees. Ultimately, the Dodgers won the World Series, but definitely looking forward to baseball season. But before we even get to that, uh, college basketball is making the way toward the end of its regular season, and it's not going to be long before we're going to be talking about some March Madness here. Um, doesn't look like UConn is going to be in any kind of a position to possibly repeat this year. Certainly, Dan Hurley and the boys are having a tough time out there, a tough go of it. Auburn, Alabama, the SEC is dominating the top 25 right now, and it's really going to be fun. And Heather, how has the internet improved? Did you kick the crap out of somebody?
my no on something. My internet is Spectrum. If anyone that is Spectrum is watching, I hope your company goes under, because it never works.
Oh boy, and that is okay. The technical difficulties happen. We go through these things, but yeah, what do you think? March Madness is around the corner. Are you surprised at all about how dominant the SEC is right now in the top 25?
No, because I think that's something that we've seen year in and year out. The Big Ten used to be the conference for NCAA, and I think the SEC is just starting to overtake that a little bit. They're starting to take basketball a little bit more seriously. So no, I haven't been too surprised, because honestly, the regular season doesn't matter much.
No, it doesn't. No, you get into the dance, and that's the most important thing. Certainly, the better rank, or better seating you get, the better off you're going to be. And in the top 25, Auburn and Alabama are 1-2. Flip them and flop them in the AP top 25 and the coaches poll. Another team also in the top 5 has been Florida. So definitely the SEC has certainly, as Heather said, really gotten back to being at the top of the NCAA men's basketball world. And we'll have to wait and see also if the women's tournament is as exciting this year as it was last year. Certainly for fans of women's basketball, they got to watch the whole everything unfold last season with Caitlin Clark, and people, as Cleveland fans, Heather and I, our hometown, got to host the Final Four. It was just an amazing Final Four there, and ultimately, as great of a story as the individual Caitlin Clark was, they couldn't win it as a team. One thing that I saw this year that I thought was a fantastic turnaround is St. John's and Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino, last year in his first season at St. John's, not so good, my friends. Not so good for St. John's. And this season, they lost the other night. I believe they're 21-4 now. But what a turnaround, because last season in February, he's coming out in the press after a loss, and he says this: our lateral quickness and our toughness is just something I've never witnessed in all my years of coaching. We are so non-athletic that we can't guard anybody without fouling. for a coach to come out, and obviously he's got a certain amount of clout with all of his history and his successes. He comes out and he says that in his first season. I could have seen that being the straw that breaks the camel's back, just destroying things for the program and for his players. Yet this season, they're in the top 10, and they have bounced back. It would be nice to really see. I know UConn's obviously had their success, but the Big East was such a great basketball conference back in the 80s, the 90s. And you would watch those Big East tournaments played at Madison Square Garden, and they were absolutely captivating. And we are back. Whoa.
I had to come upstairs. I couldn't use my pod room. I think that the internet was like, it's too cold down there. You can't use that room.
Michael, speaking of that, I was listening to the radio, and they were trying to talk to Buster Olney, and he's out in Bozeman, Montana. It was too cold. It was like 7, 8, 10 degrees below zero, and he had no cell phone service.
He's like, no, I can't. The weather it's too cold. I think I'm all set. I think we're good. So I think I bolted out of here when we were talking about spring training. I don't know how far you got with that.
Well, I didn't go into that too much. I talked about just again, even for the small market teams, there's a lot to look forward to. They showed it in the playoffs, at least on the AL side of things, because you had Kansas City, Detroit, Cleveland. I mean, 3 out of the 4 remaining, when it came down to it in the division series,
right?
3 out of the 4 were from the AL Central.
Mm-hmm.
And Cleveland, they ran out of gas, but they fought hard against the Yankees.
And they did fight hard against the Yankees. And looking at it now, do you think anybody would have gotten past LA?
I don't think so. I
don't either.
That's a whole,
and that's another, like, guys, just stay tuned with us for this season, because we are going to get into baseball, and follow us everywhere, because this is one of the things that we're going to dive into. There's so much to unpack with baseball. There's so much to unpack. There's the salary cap, rules and lack of rules, and just the commissioner and just all of the things that go into baseball. And there's a lot of controversial stuff. So we will be unpacking a lot of that.
We will be. And now Heather, I don't know. I don't know what, if you're one of the people who you're talking about your internet service.
I give up.
Don't give up. Don't give up. If you cut the cord, would you? I mean, for me, being out of market, I can't watch the Guardians unless I get the MLB TV. But now seeing the new package that has been made available, $99 for the season is $99.99 for approximately 150 games. That is not a bad deal at all. To be able to watch the Guardians on the regular, if I have time in the evening, it's something nice to throw on. They're on, they'll play 17 games in 18 days or something like. So you can just sit down in the evening. Hey, here we go. I got it. It's all good. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if it's on your cable package or if that's something that you might have to invest in. It's possible. So, and folks, thanks for sticking with us here. Apologize for the technical difficulties. But yeah, so a lot of stuff is going to be going on, and we really appreciate, you being along with us, and follow along with us every week. We're going to cover a lot of topics, not just our hometown teams in Northeast Ohio, in Columbus being Ohio State, etc. We're going to try and hit on a lot of the national stories here. So with all of that in mind, we are going to cut this one here this evening. Apologize again for the technical difficulties. Wanted to thank everybody for tuning in this evening. We will be back again next week. Please follow us everywhere. Follow me, follow Heather. Wait, we might have a appearance. Wait, Heather, are you back?
I don't know. You guys, I do not know what's going on. There's like a sign that says I need to put my pajamas on and go to bed.
Right. And you know what? I was just actually thinking, let's keep everybody stay tuned and join us again next week. And we're going to have lots more to talk about. because, well, you know what? Sports doesn't stop, and the stories are going to be there. We're going to be we're going to be recapping all that happened over the All-Star weekend. We're going to get ready for the second half of the NBA season. We're going to be gearing up for spring training. We'll start talking about the combine and everything else you can think of. There's a lot going on out there. Again, follow us wherever you can, get your podcast. If you want to download us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, etc. Follow us on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Look at the crawl there. Follow Heather on all of her social platforms. And you can follow me. My individual handle is there at egreen4325. You can see for the podcast. Please like and follow us on X at TBDGPITL, the best doggone podcast in the land. Follow all of our friends at the Fanatical Elves Network and Fans First Sports Network. So again, Heather,
I'm so sorry, you guys. It's it is just one of those days where nothing is working out for me. You guys have watched. I apologize. I always try to do better, but Spectrum has other ideas for me today.
All right, hey, don't give me that Kevin Stefanski line. I don't want to hear about doing better.
I will do better next time.
All right, let's
I get it honest. I get it week in and week out, so I get it honest.
No, it is all good. No, Heather, thank you so much. Another great episode of the best doggone podcast in the land.
Yes.
We'll look forward to bringing you all more coverage next time on the best doggone podcast in the land.
Thanks, guys.